All right, welcome to Burn the Ship, the podcast we connect entrepreneurs to professionals. I'm your host, Ezra Brown, and today we have a very special guest. I'm going to let him introduce himself, but this is one of my good friends and a networking partner of mine. He's helped me out tremendously. Without further ado, I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Edward Pham. I'm the owner of Pham Chiropractic. We've been blessed to have been owning this beautiful facility and being in the industry for going on 27 years. So I'm here to hang out with Ezra and let him ask me some questions. This should be interesting and funny at the same time. So
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
Well, look, guys, this is Dr. Pham's been in this business for a long time, very local, handles a lot of people in our hometown and our home network area. But I kind of want to hear the story from him, kind of give us that story, paint the picture of what this professional journey has been like for you and kind of where the last 27 years have taken you. I know it's been through a whirlwind, so I'd love to hear about it a little bit.
Which part in particular would you like to know?
Kind of the professional side of where you started out to kind of what's led you to where you are now.
So I was originally born in Vietnam. I came here at the age of 11. Didn't speak a word of English. Went to school, struggled through school a lot, and managed to somehow, with a whole lot of blessing, to graduate with my doctorate degree at the age of 25.
It's awesome.
So the joke has always been, there's always struggle.
Right, absolutely. Where'd you go to school at?
I went to Life University. I went then did my pre-med up north prior to coming down to Life University, and then I came down to finish out my pre-med and then enter the doctorate program.
And kind of what is what was that the journey? I know is it's hard being, especially coming here and not speaking any English. So you go to school up north, having to learn everything. What was that barrier like? What was it breaking down that barrier like?
Oh, it was tough. It was super tough. But I think in that moment in life, when you deal with a situation like that, it's an opportunity for personal growth.
Right, absolutely.
I remember always telling myself, I didn't come halfway around the world to be here, to be held back by an exam or by a teacher or by a course. And I mean, that's when you bear down and you hit the wall so many times, but you keep getting back up and do what you have to do.
You'll finally bust through that wall if you keep hitting it enough times.
That's right. Yes.
So no, and then absolutely, you came down to Life University. Obviously, did you have any travels after Life or have you been down here since?
No, this is home for me now. When I first came down here, and I hope that person get to see this video because I rented a basement studio because we couldn't afford much. And I woke up the following morning with a fresh baked loaf of banana nut bread and a note that says, "Welcome to your new home. We hope you like it here." I was like, oh my God, Southern hospitality is real.
Right.
I love it.
And you got some banana nut bread. That's when you knew it was home.
That's right. That's
awesome.
And this has been home ever since. I love it here.
That's awesome. Well, kind of walk us through that journey since Life. What's it been like, since you left Life U, and then you've obviously established yourself here, and you've definitely grown a successful business, and kind of what's that been like?
Well, when you love what you do, it doesn't matter how many hours you have to work.
Right.
You put in the hard time. You put in everything that you need. You put your nose to the grinder to make it happen. You work 6 days a week.
Right.
You got to do what you have to do. And I tell you, for the first 16 years of my life, I did 6 days a week.
Yeah.
At one point, I owned 2 practices running back and forth. One was in Dallas, Paulding County, and the other one was all the way in Norcross, Gwinnett County. And that was a lot of running back and forth.
Big stretch.
Yeah. So, but now, after 27 years, I'm working 4 days, Tuesday to Friday, and Monday I dedicated to doing all the fun stuff like meeting with everyone. If they want to have a meeting with me, it must happen on Monday. So Monday is the day I choose to work on my business.
Right.
And the rest of the week I work in my business.
Right. And then what would you say has been the most influential business part of growing your business over this last 27 years? What has been like that steeple that's kind of helped you?
Sincere appreciation for harvesting and maintaining relationship with people.
Right.
Because really, it doesn't matter what you do. It all boils down to relationship.
Right.
And genuinely care for people. Want to give back when you can. Faith is a huge part of my life and who I am as a man. So having that's my foundation. When you genuinely love what you do, you genuinely care for the people, everybody. You come in as a patient, but when you leave, you're going to be part of the extended family.
Right.
And that's been a blessing for us over the years.
Right. So you believe in kind of building those relationships and cultivating them through time. It's because sometimes they might not like you at the first time.
Right.
They see you, they don't want you popping on their back. They're like, hey, you're making me uncomfortable. But at the end, they realize that you're genuine, and it's helped you, significantly through this time of keeping and retaining people in your network and kind of having them refer you, making it easier for them to be like, hey, I do know this guy. All right, I do want you to go see this guy versus go and see him. One of these bigger corporations, or I guess what about the word I'm looking for a bigger chiropractic place, like a chain.
Like a chain.
Yeah, it's like a chain of them. You know what I mean? Versus go see this guy. I know he's going to take care of you because he's taking care of me and taking care of other people I know.
That's right.
Which is super awesome. And then obviously cultivating relationships and things growing your business. There have been any other ways you've done this?
Getting out there, networking with people. A lot of different specialists where we refer back and forth. That really is important. We want to accept every cases that walk in, but we don't always do. Just because you can tell, I'm here to help. But if they're here to play around or they go fishing, then they're not a perfect fit for us. And I'm far along enough in my life and career where I can say, you know what? I think it's better off if you go find you another facility.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? There's nothing wrong with that. Because not everybody's your ideal client.
That's exactly right. That 10% that consume 90% of your mind and mental wellness will eat you alive.
Right.
You'd rather get rid of it and you'll be a much happier and healthier individual.
Absolutely. And that segues me right to a good question. What has been that kind of like whenever somebody's like, I think I'm going to go somewhere else, that's been with you for a while. What is it that feeling of like if somebody's leaving you?
Okay.
Exactly.
I wish you the best of luck.
Right.
Yes. We know what we offer is a 5-star white glove service. We genuinely care for each and every single one that come into our office. But if they choose to leave, that's okay. I wish them the very best. And sometime, more often than not, when they go somewhere else, that's when they realize it. It's like you don't appreciate that person in your life until that person's no longer there. And you're like, oh my God, I really had it great. Right. What was I thinking?
Right. I don't know what chiropractic office you can just walk up into, and go talk to, see if you can get up in an appointment at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And then really, what was since you started, what's been one thing that you really could lean on? What has been that one key in your business that you knew you didn't have to worry about because is one of those things you've had right kind of since you started?
But my faith, my strong faith, my walk every day, my daily walk in faith. And I was saved. I was born into a Buddhist family. I didn't. That's what I was raised into. But however, when I came here, and it's like God put different people in my life on my path, in my journey per se, to just a sign to witnessing, right? And at one point, I put it all on the table. And I asked really tough questions, like coming from a post-war era individual, Vietnam War. I mean, I asked a lot of strong questions. And the preacher who, Pastor Bill Smith, I forever be in debt to him and love him dearly. He took time, answered all of my questions, and some of the questions will never have an answer. Only Jesus knows that. When I make it up and when we make it up there, then I'll know. But right now, nobody knows.
Right.
So one day, decided to walk down to the altar and bow down, and I surrender my life to you.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is an amazing thing. It is an amazing thing and feeling for sure. Most definitely. And then that walk of faith, it definitely helps, especially being in the small town in the South that we're from. It's definitely helped you a ton because it kind of breaks that wall down for people that may only have that relationship with Christ, that they're not worried about the other people and things like that. So it makes that barrier down when they walk in your office.
Right.
Which is super amazing. It's amazing how connected that one being can make a community of people.
Right.
which is super, super awesome.
I pray for every single one of my patients, whether they realize it or not.
Right.
Sometime before I treat them, I would silently say the prayer
Right.
for them. And a lot of time, before I even treat them, I would ask them, is it okay if I pray for you?
Right.
Or pray with you? And I tell you, more often than not, it was absolutely. And we would pray, and they'll give me a big old hug, and there's tears and crying. I tell you, that in itself is so much better than anything I could have done for them, any adjustment, any procedure, any diagnostic at the moment in time.
Right. Absolutely.
It makes everything else afterward just go a whole lot smoother.
Right. Absolutely. Because it's, you know, you laid some common ground down, you know, that they probably didn't believe was a thing through somebody that's working on that. You're essentially, they're paying you for a service. They didn't believe they would get that type of reinsurance there, versus because they're used to going to a joint or somewhere in that nature of the chiropractic world, was they don't care about the patient. They just care about getting the paycheck, which is super, super awesome. That is why you're one of a kind. And then kind of, you know, what is your favorite part, you know, being a chiropractor? What's your favorite part of your day to day?
I tell you, there's families that have been through our office. I think the record right now is 5 generations of one family. They trust us enough to put their health in our hands to take care of their family. We get invited to family reunion. We get invited to family parties, you know, Christmas, or all kind of treats. It's like a bakery in my office because everybody bringing stuff, and I don't know how we're not 500 pounds, you know, after every holidays. But really, it's a blessing to be part of their journey in health. And I don't have all the answer,
Right.
but I promise you, I would know who would have it, and I will point them in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah, that's the key, is to be able to stay in your lane, know when you need to be able to help them by other means.
Right. And that's absolutely correct. That is awesome. You know, and then what would you say your specialty is?
People.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do work a crowd very well. I've got to watch it over the last couple months. It's helped me a ton, and you've kind of started to try and help me out a little bit, and it's definitely put me in the right direction. I very much appreciate it as well.
My pleasure.
Most definitely. And then, you know, what was the one thing when you first started that you didn't do so well? You know, what was that thing that you were like, God, I need somebody to help me. I got to work on this. What was it?
You know, it's hilarious because I love the culture. I wanted to stay here in Georgia, right? I was big in the outdoors. I couldn't afford to go and party and chase girls when I was in college. You know, most of my buddies were going down to Atlanta and Buckhead, going to all the club, and I couldn't afford to do that. So I went trout fishing in North Georgia. I love the outdoors and, you know, all the rivers and all the mountains, and it was just awesome. And that's where I have my passion for fly fishing.
Right.
So I've been doing that for quite some years. But one of the things is that the Southern culture, y'all have your own vernaculars.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. And so as a way to learn it, I would have a book, and I have all the Southern vernaculars, you know, written down and what it actually means, right?
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anybody who come in and it would say something, and I say, oh, that's so cool. What does it mean? And they'll tell me that, and later I would go home and write that down. Like, I don't have a dog in this fight, or you know, how's your mama and them? And I mean, all kind of funny stuff over the years. I love it.
It's super, super awesome. It's definitely one of a kind down here, because you hear it all the time, especially me in the baseball world. We had teammates from up north. They'd be like, y'all are a whole different breed down here. I'm like, y'all are a different breed. What are you talking about? You know, because it's all a whole two different cultures for sure.
Right.
And especially you're a melting pot of culture.
Yeah.
I mean, so you've seen about all of it nowadays at this point.
Yeah.
It's just super, super awesome, because it makes people be able to relate. You can relate to people well.
Yes.
You know, you can kind of spit their lingo a little bit better than most could, because you've seen multiple sides of it.
Yeah.
You've been the poorest of the poor, you've been the rich, you know, you've been up on the top, and then you've also came from having nothing, having something where you're at home with the family, to where you have nothing when you get here.
That's right.
So it's definitely one of those things that's just super, super awesome. It's a very genuine story, and we'd love to hear it, you know.
Thank you.
And then, you know, what has been, because I met you in the networking scene, met you through BNI National, shout out BNI, you've been good to us. But, you know, what's been that journey of networking, and kind of how did you get into that, in that sphere?
I'll tell you, I've always been a people person. I appreciate my quiet time, and I need that. But I love being around people because I'm a people watcher.
Right.
Naturally, I'm an outdoorsman, so I observe. And I remember when I first went to BNI, within the first meeting, I said, oh my gosh, this is going to work. I went back, said, okay, I want in. Please give me an application. Let me send you a check.
Right.
Because what BNI has is just absolutely exclusive, one seat per profession. That makes it beautiful.
Right.
And I went there as one of the many tools that I use.
Right.
To harvest relationship and share and give back. I mentor a whole lot,
Right.
as I am one of the mentor coordinator for our current chapter and the founding member of the chapter.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so really enjoy
awesome.
that journey.
And then, was there any networking being done pre-BNI, or is that kind of what drug you into the scene?
There is. I serve on a lot of boards for the community. I truly believe you don't just go in a community and just set up shop and not help to make the community a better place.
Right.
So from the get-go, I'm a giver by nature, so I serve in different ministries.
Okay.
And give back to the community. So in doing so, you meet a whole lot of people.
Right.
And that's how you get to know folks. That's how you help the community. That's how you know about the community.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's super, super awesome, And then our last thing is, our saying is burn the ship. That's kind of the name of the podcast. You know where it comes from?
Yeah, I do.
So it comes from Central American conquistador Hernan Cortez.
Mm-hmm.
Lands in modern day Mexico, but he thought it was America. It wasn't. But whenever they landed, he made his men disassemble their ships and take off everything that they were going to use, all their supplies and everything, and they burnt the ships on the beaches. And that was his sign to his men that they were going to make it there, they were going to die trying.
Mm-hmm.
And your burn the ship moment was obviously realizing you wanted to come to the States, you wanted to go to school, But even better than that, it was going into chiropractic school, But what was the first burn the ship moment like? Of shoot, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna go over there to the States, and I'm gonna start a new life. What was that? What were the emotions that kind of go behind that?
Taking a young man from a third world country who have never seen running water, have never seen a color television set, have never seen a refrigerator full of food, to a place like this. So it's totally foreign to me, And when time comes for me to go to college or
Right.
go into the military, my family were all military.
So.
My dad was Army. My grandfather was the mayor of the town. My uncle was a helicopter pilot, and another uncle was a jet fighter pilot. And so I wanted to go to the military, and you can see some of that characteristic in knowing me.
Right.
I said, Dad, I want to go into the military. What do you think? And he said, son, many of nights I have to sleep with my rifle next to me to give you an opportunity now to be able to go to college. So why don't you take advantage of that? And I really thought about it, a lot of soul searching. I was good in math, so I wanted to consider engineering.
Right.
But I said, I wanted to look into the doctor world as well. And I went and visited all kinds of specialists, right? If I was a family physician, I would need medication. If I was a surgeon, I need tools
Mm-hmm.
and sterile environment, right? If I was a chiropractor, no matter where they put me in the world,
Mm-hmm.
I can go and serve instantly and help people. All I need are my hands.
I've never thought about it like that.
And that's why I wanted to be a chiropractor.
Man, that is, in all the medical fields like that, I've never thought about it in that sense. It is the only one where you don't have to have tools to put an impact on somebody's life.
Chiropractic literally translate into done by hand.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That is awesome. That is super, super awesome. And then, and the last one is kind of, what was it, going from up north to coming down here for school, and then realizing that you were going to stay down here. And what was that emotions? What were the emotions? Was it,
I was
scared?
easy.
Was it happy? Whenever you realized, like, I'm going to set up shop here.
Right.
And you chose good old Dallas, Georgia.
Well, anytime you fly away from the roost here, right? It's a big step, especially for a young person. I have a daughter now that's getting ready to go into the college world. And as a matter of fact, this week we're doing orientation at the local college here. She wants to be an orthodontist. But I know that if I keep staying under mama's wings, right? I think all moms can relate to this. They want to protect their babies,
Yeah.
right? But if I continue to stay that, I will never reach the God-given potential that God has created me to be as a man. I needed to get out, make my own mistakes, cut my own path, and create and live to its full potential.
Man, that's awesome. That is super awesome. And then, you know, everybody, I'll let him know. Let's tell you guys where to find him, and then you let the people know where to find you.
We are in Dallas, which is Paulding County. We serve Paulding, Cobb, and Douglas. We're at 110 Evans Mill Drive, Suite 302, Dallas, Georgia 30157. The number there is 678-363-3444. Again, 678-363-3444. And our website is Pham, spelled P-H-A-M, chiropractic @gmail.com, or you can do phmchiropractic.com, and they will pull it up as well. So thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for coming.
Yes.
Ship. We'll get a little cheers on the burning ship. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Burn the ship, everybody. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Burn the ship.